Death Valley National Park, California. This vast desert expanse is famed for being both the driest and the lowest region in all of the United States. The temperatures here can reach a sweltering 134 degrees Fahrenheit. But the park is also renowned for an astonishing spectacle of architecture.
Walking out of the blistering desert heat, one is greeted by a house that seems as if it could not exist in that location.
This is the Death Valley Ranch, or as it's more commonly known, Scotty's Castle. A sprawling and opulent villa, which has long fascinated visitors and historians alike.
This remarkable structure sprang from one of the most bizarre friendships in the history of the American West.
Who was the mysterious Scotty who gave the castle its name? And what unlikely friendship led to the creation of this fantastical mansion? 1902, Death Valley. Gold rush fever grips the region. New mines open every day, and ambitious prospectors arrive in droves. One of these is Walter Scott, aka Death Valley Scotty, who has had a colorful past.
He traveled for 12 years with Wild West shows. He was an adventurer, and he was a character who was hard to pin down what he actually did.
After several months of digging, Scotty makes an announcement that has investors running to jump on board. He has found gold. And one such investor is Chicago tycoon Albert Johnson.
He invested initially thousands of dollars, as did many others. They were told that their investment would ultimately be repaid tenfold once the mine was developed.
But when months pass and Johnson has seen no sign of gold, he presses Scotty for answers, eventually announcing his intention to travel down and see the mine for himself. When Johnson arrives in Death Valley, Scotty, accompanied by his brother, leads the businessman towards the gold mine. But en route, they're ambushed by armed bandits, and Scotty's brother takes a bullet. In all the confusion, the visit to the gold mine is abandoned. Johnson returns home to Chicago without even a glimpse of his investment. And back in his native city, he begins to wonder, does this gold mine actually exist? It's the early 1900s in California. Gold prospector William Scott, aka Scotty, has convinced Chicago businessman Albert Johnson to invest in a gold mine he's discovered in Death Valley. But 2 years in, Johnson has yet to see any return on his investment, and he's beginning to smell a rat. So what's the truth behind Scotty's extravagant tales of gold in the desert? Johnson hires a private detective to trail Scotty and investigate his activities. And the first discovery the agent makes is alarming.
In the mine that Scotty claims to have found, he is apparently planting samples of gold.
But that's not all. When the detective questions local residents, he hears the tale of the notorious ambush from a different perspective.
The entire shootout was planned exclusively for the benefit of Johnson, to dissuade him from going on.
But the staged shootout did not go quite as planned, and Scotty's brother was in fact gravely wounded. This dangerous ruse demonstrates the extremes Scotty was willing to go to disguise the fact that his lucrative gold mine didn't actually exist.
The entire thing, it's all a hoax.
On learning that he's been duped, a furious Johnson returns to Death Valley to meet the con man face to face. But when he gets there, his reaction is not what people expect.
He's fascinated by this remarkable character, and it was enough that he was willing to look past the fact that he had been tricked.
Admiring the brazen confidence of this savvy entrepreneur, Johnson strikes up an unlikely friendship with the swindler, so much so that he decides to build a house on the land where the gold mine was supposed to have been.
He lavishes every luxury of his day on this mansion of truly epic proportions.
Over time, Johnson invites his down-at-the-heel friend to move into the lodging with him and his wife. And Scotty, never one to miss a trick, sets about spinning a new yarn.
Scotty told locals, visitors, basically anybody who would listen, that this house was actually his house.
And Johnson does nothing to refute Scotty's tall tales.
He actually plays along with it, describing himself to some visitors as Scotty's banker.
But a few years later, the stock market crash of 1929 drives Johnson into financial ruin. And the expense of maintaining his huge mansion becomes too much to bear.
And at this moment, his unlikely savior is Scotty, who suggests that they can turn their location into an actual hotel.
The venture is a roaring success, with tourists, along with a slew of the era's biggest celebrities, from Betty Grable to Norman Rockwell, attracted to the legend of Death Valley Scotty and his opulent castle. And today, Scotty's castle is owned by the National Park Service and open to the public for tours, standing as a testament to one of the most peculiar friendships in the history of the Wild West. From a desert palace to a circus catastrophe, a superhero surfer to a colossal collectible. I'm Don Wildman, and these are Monumental Mysteries.
After the break, we're tucking into